My name is Margaret Ann Windsor. This is Elizabeth, the illegal monarch. Her father, George VI, helped kidnap me from Buckingham Palace in 41, and her father, George VI, was part of the kidnapping. He helped Joseph Kennedy, the ambassador to Great Britain during that time, plan my kidnapping and take down my father, the real King Edward VIII. I've just shown you the double that they used to take down my father and marry Wallace Simpson. Now then, they named the baby George after this grandfather, great-great-grandfather, Elizabeth's dad, who helped take down his own brother with lies. My father was married to Claudia Rose O'Keeffe, American, sister to artist Georgia O'Keeffe. I was born in 39, and my uncle met with Roosevelt. I have a picture that I put on prior, where they were planning my kidnapping the year I was born, 39. They brought me to Moulton, Alabama, gave me the name of a twin who was deceased, born in a different year, illegitimate, and I grew up thinking the psychopath, being told she was my mother, a horrible woman who later fits into this, and I'll say it now to get it in, because later, before I found out in 83 about being kidnapped in my real name, I found out that, well, this happened. I was writing a book about mind control, about chips and bypasses being put in people. Nowadays, you don't need it. It's so advanced since then. But you could control their decision making. You could program them to appear to have symptoms of mental illness, and you could illegally treat them for mental illness when mind control has nothing whatsoever to do with mental illness. Mental illness is just being used as a mechanism to cover it up, and if you're a dissident or you do something wrong, they can just say you're mentally ill, haul you off, and give you psychotic drugs, which is treating you for a non-existent illness, and therefore it's one of the worst crimes you can commit. It's totally doing away the mind control is, and further using mental illness as an excuse, taking away any civil liberty you have, the right to use your own mind. So I really wanted to show you this, though, as an example. If you're shown these pictures, and I'm going to show them, who would you say is the good and the bad guy off the bat? Here's Elizabeth again. I'm going to go ahead and show you now some others that you would look at and say that they're the mean people. And I'm going to start off with the mind control victims themselves, who were programmed to commit these acts. And they're paying a price for it, and being, some of them, misdiagnosed and as mentally ill and psychotic drugs. It's a hideous thing to do. And your psychiatrists know it. Now, that's how far it's all gone. If they can't tell the difference, they don't need to have their degree. But here's the people you would look at, and this is Eric Rudolph, dates back to the Atlanta bombings and the Alabama abortion clinic, and he lived on the trail and in North Carolina, and I had to live out in the forest, and He's in prison now, but this dates back to the Richard Jewell and Lynn Wood, and it also dates back to the John Bonet. Lynn Wood was the attorney for the Ramseys, but also that's not just the patterns. John Bonet, that goes back to other stuff that fit in the patterns. So she was whoever committed the act, it was done in patterns, the whole mess was. But I've been to Linwood 3 times. I've contacted all these attorneys when I had no money to do it. And I'm going to show you this one. This is a Holmes out in Aurora, Colorado. He's, boy, they really got him. The last one I showed you is where the state trooper, Tom Childs, he's retired now, where his daughter was shot. She was a student at Tech, Virginia Tech, next door here from me. I'm in Roanoke. It's Blacksburg, Christiansburg, and the forest is all around us here. They were gunned down, and that's a direct response to something on August the 14th of '09, and another state trooper did, and where I was at. So I'll leave it at that. I put it in former tapes. But anyway, your state troopers, your law enforcement are all afraid of it, even if they cared. I had never had a beef with state troopers. I thought they were the good guys, but then my husband years ago, who I later found was CIA, he said to me, "You're too gullible, you're too naive and not streetwise." Well, I sure got thrown out there, and I am now. Now then, I'm going to lose it on this and can't upload it. That was the thing I wanted to ask you, though. If I showed you these pictures, you would look at Larry Flint, and a lot of people, of course, they'll pick up his magazines and videos, but they'll say, well, he's the bad guy. Now then, Larry Flint was in Butner, North Carolina, for telling the truth. He was tortured. His wife died. You know how she died. Anybody that's listening to this. Althea Flint. The movie, I don't think, portrayed anything. Courtney Love and all that. By the way, I'm going to put this in here, and I'm not even going to make that statement. Charlottesville, Virginia, where my relative Anastasia was, and that was her, and they used the mental health system on her. They killed and burned her parents, the Tsar Nicholas, the Romanovs. Alexandra was her mother, Empress. Back to Germany, her mother was Victoria. So of Wilhelm, and let me go on so I get this on. But they're all my relatives, and she was murdered here by Blue Ridge Mental Health in Charlottesville. But the reason I'm making this comparison is that there was a lot more done there, but I'm going to leave this as a question mark. I know better, but I'll leave it up to you. There was a murder there of, not Courtney Love, she played Althea Flint. Yardley Love, she was a student. Her boyfriend was supposed to have killed her, and he's in prison. There's a number of others there. There was one that was Morgan Harrington, was at a Metallica concert back when these were killed, right after. She also was a student at, well, I'll get this in a minute, I suppose. She was a student at Blacksburg. Her father was head of psychiatry there, taught it. and also at Carillion and Roanoke. Now, they're a very prominent family. Your media keeps covering this, but they don't tell the truth. Your media's not going to tell the truth, and they know it. They know the truth. But anyway, she was abducted. It's where she was found. None of these people, they just want me dead. I'm going to show you one more that is very sad to me. And this is next door when I was in, still had the Hustler car. I had that much left out of everything that's happened. I had to turn it in at the end of the year, and I never spoke with Larry Flint that I know of after then, or Hustler. Although the endorsement was sent to me up in D.C., so they knew my address. But this was done April of 85, when I was pumping gas in the Hustler car parked around back, and cashiering for a living. Ronica's was in Grottoes, and this happened in Bedford, and I'm next door in Roanoke since '06, October. These were murders that Jens Orange was a diplomat's son. His father is no longer a diplomat. His mother's dead, and he's in Buckingham State Prison in Virginia, Dillwyn. Elizabeth Haysom is in Goochland. They were students, I'll say that again, at Charlottesville. They were convicted of, these were all done in patterns, and everyone here knows that, I'm taking, I don't know how long I'll live if you call me living. Sweeney was the judge. Updike was the Commonwealth attorney that prosecuted. He has now replaced Sweeney as judge in Bedford. Dangerous to tell the truth, believe me. But anyway, they're victims of, and these were done in patterns. So this has been done to your own people too. Your government has done it to you, but as long as you can pretend it's invisible, and me telling it and all this is happening to me, why, get me out of your way. Now then, but I've shown you the people you would say that are nice. You got William and Kate, and the baby actually named after the great-great-grandfather that kidnapped me and took down the British Empire, allowed the Americans to put bases all over British soil, and it became a launching pad for the United States to world dominance. And Elizabeth's part of it. You sell your soul, you get to look like this, you get to steal and kill and be honored and all this. And you got the Kennedys. That's coming up, 50th anniversary. His father had kidnapped me. I've spoken of mind control. Any fool can look back at Oswald and his shooting. He is being shot by, I can't remember his name now, the man that shot him. You got a list of people that died of sudden cancer or sudden look like death of natural cause in that whole scenario. You got Marilyn Monroe was killed. You got John Kennedy was part of the mafia. His brother John was going to become Attorney General. And all this time, you don't see what they're doing today and they're doing to the British. So they pulled off one number. None of that's been told. And I don't know that it will be, even though I wouldn't know all this if the British hadn't told me in German. And I've lived it and I know it day to day. They'll keep covering it up and talking about, they just published a book by another guy who comes up with some scenario. Because if you tell about the mind control murders and you tell about me, you're going to tell about the United States overthrow of who they're calling their friends. Do you think I'm their friend? I'm their hostage. I'm Victoria II, the real monarch. And all the treaties that have been signed by illegal monarch, George and his daughter Elizabeth, are just that, illegal. But how do you correct it? I mean, you can't undo what you've done to me personally or to the Brits or Germans. And you've enjoyed it, America, every step of the way. It is so odd. You have built this thing where you're the good guy, and you just ignore any of the truth. Um, I've seen the blinds come down in your eyes when I showed you indisputable proof. You didn't want to hear it. I've met you one on a daily basis. I've seen the real you. I want to give you just a few of the mind control murders, um, and they are, and there's a whole list of them from early '70s.